What's up, y'all? How is it going? I hope you all are well. Hello, Jacarius, Angel, Sandy, Nathan, Ruth. I am here. I've made it. I made it. My staff meeting finished early. Kind of glad. Was less chaotic coming back in here. But yeah, Ruth, you're gonna have to elaborate because I really don't know what you mean. Sprina got all the love. Yeah, they had some kind of meet and greet thing, and like with like airplanes flying across, showing them love. But I didn't really pay close attention to it. Can someone elaborate? Was there like a Sprina event, or did people just show up to like Prospect Studios and like just run into them? Because I'm seeing pictures outside the studio. I seen James was in there too. Like, what was this event? Explain, guys. We are going to talk about Sprina today for sure, though. They are second on my list. People showed up at Prospect Studios. Oh, okay, cool. So, like, this was just, like, on a whim? So, like, did they show up and then they, like, Nicholas and Tabiana, did they see, like, that there was Sprina fans out there and just went to say hi? Like, I want to know. Oh, they had a Zoom event today, too? Okay. But, yeah, is that what it was? Sprina fans just, like, showed up to the set, or, like, to the lot, and then Nicholas and Tabiana, they went out there, or... Because that's, like, really cool. Also, like, how did they know they were working that day? And honestly, if I lived close to there, I'd be tempted to, you know, be outside the studio myself, too. Yeah, something like that. Okay. Well, that's cool. I think Nicholas and Tabiana are doing a wonderful job. Nicholas is one hell of an actor, and I'm so proud of Tabiana because, you know, being the recast of a role that was loved by fans of the previous actress as well, like, that's not an easy thing to do, and Tabiana's killing it. Regular people can just show up to the lot. Well, I mean, probably outside the gate, I would imagine, right? Like, Prospect Studios is just going to be, you know, it's a gated thing, but they can stay outside the gate. There's probably only one way out of the lot. It's like how people will go outside of radio stations to try to meet the celebrities that they interview, you know? I mean, I'd be tempted to do it. I don't know if I would, but I'd be tempted. I gotta adjust this. I don't know if that's any better. Yeah, I really do miss Sydney, but I think Tabiana is a wonderful actress, and she is killing it in the role. And, you know, in watching her interview with Maurice, like, she seems so, like, well-mannered, so grateful for the chance to have this role, and, you know, I feel like she plays the role quite authentically, because in that interview, like, I seen pure Trina in there. It was funny. I was just like, wow. It's not too many actors that seem like they have the same vibe as their characters. So whoever's teaching her, you know, doing a wonderful job. But yeah, hey everyone. Welcome to General Hospital Envy, my GH after show. We'll get into it shortly. Glad you made it. According to my weather, it's not giving me the actual... Oh no, it's 1 degree Celsius. So we're above zero and now it's freezing rain, so I'm gonna slip and fall and die tomorrow on my way to work. Wish me luck. Yeah, she sure does, Sandy. But yeah, lots to get into today. Just put Spencer and Trina together already. I'm saying, you know, I mean, obviously he has to get out of jail first, but we'll get into Sprino. We will for sure. But yeah, it's officially 10 now. So, and I didn't want to be too late for you guys either. I did rush back as soon as we were dismissed. I came here, and thankfully I didn't have to make a mad dash. I could make sure everything was set up properly, and so you all can hear me. Had my notes. I actually wrote my notes super early in the morning so I could get that out of the way as well. Just to have it all ready by the time I came on. And there's lots to discuss today. Couldn't deal with Canadian winter. I can't even deal with Canadian winter. And I live in Canada. I'm over it. Man. Although some winters, it depends where you are in the country too. Like Montreal, they finally got their snow. I can handle snow being here when it feels like it's supposed to be here. Like mid-November, I'm okay with snow. And then like it needs to be gone by like end of March. But it's never the case here in Alberta. Like sometimes we be getting snow in early September, you know? And then sometimes it'll stay on the ground until like May. Or it'll like melt completely and then come back for like 3-4 days, but like with a vengeance, and then melt again. So we're just dealing with slush, and you know, if it's colder at night, we're dealing with freezing ice. And it's not fun to walk in, it's not fun to drive in. They don't be doing the residential roads here in Alberta either very much. Our Thanksgiving was back in October, Nathan. Like pretty early. Let me double check the date it was. October 10th was our Thanksgiving. Finally got cold here in Atlanta. I love the cold weather. I don't mind when it's like between -5 and +5 in the winter. But we're lucky if we get that. Oh man, but you know, I got 3 siblings in Buffalo, Buffalo, New York, and apparently they got hammered down with snow. And my brother has just been cracking jokes. He's like digging people out of their homes, you know, but he's charging them because he's smart. Man. What is the historical significance of Canadian Thanksgiving? I feel like we went through this when it was Thanksgiving in Canada. Because October 10th, when would that have fallen on? October 10th was... Okay, October 10th was a Monday, but we would have talked about it on Wednesday. Or even Sunday. You know? Well, actually, no, wait a minute. No, because I was in Montreal. Never mind. But when I got back, so I think, okay, yeah, when I came back, it was Wednesday, so Canadian Thanksgiving had passed. So we talked about it then. But to give you like the significance, I guess, in Canada, it's not nearly as big of a thing here as it is in the United States, honestly. But according to Google, Thanksgiving in Canada originated purely as a harvest festival On January 31st, 1957, the Canadian Parliament proclaimed a day of general thanksgiving to Almighty God for the bountiful harvest with which Canada has been blessed, to be observed on the second Monday in October. So the date's always changing, but it's always the second Monday in October. Yeah, I'm curious what cold in Atlanta is too. Because some of y'all be like, it's freezing, and you guys are wearing sweaters, and I'm like, you know, freezing to me is like, I go outside and my beard gets covered in ice, which happens frequently in Canada. Like, I could walk outside for 7 minutes, and if I don't have, like, you know, like a scarf or something on my face, my beard turns white and frosty, and then it just soaked. You know, the second I go into like a heated room. But yeah, so I guess, is it Thanksgiving in the States then? I'm assuming that's why you guys are asking. In which case, happy Thanksgiving to y'all. Oh, Thursday. Oh, this Thursday. Happy early Thanksgiving. We'll talk about it on Wednesday. Maybe we'll watch a classic Thanksgiving episode on Wednesday, y'all. Um, 28 degrees. I'm assuming that's Fahrenheit. Let's see. Which is -2 Celsius. Okay. So we're like slightly warmer than you, I guess. By like 3 degrees. Interesting, though. All right, but are y'all ready to get into recapping the show and giving my thoughts and stuff? Because I am more than ready myself. Yeah, Thanksgiving is this Thursday. Yeah, we might as well react to a Thanksgiving episode on Thursday. Even if we've reacted to one already, I don't know. We're going to watch one of the episodes, classic Thanksgiving episodes. Hopefully revolving around the Q's, because we know we love the Q's Thanksgiving. I mean, I do anyway. Ready. All right. Sandy's ready. Jake, Holly got found out child. Oh yeah, I'm excited to talk about that. I'm actually saving that for last because that's how stoked I am. Especially how it went down. Because it was very, very classic Robert. And I'm sure Laura had a hand in it too. But we'll get into that. But y'all are ready. So let's discuss Welcome to General Hospital Envy, my GH after show. Let's get into it. We're going to kick things off with Curtis and Marshall and Portia and Jordan, just because that'll segue easily into Trina and Spencer. This week started with Curtis getting the results of his genetic testing to see if he carries the gene of schizophrenia that he could possibly pass on to a child should he have one. But not before Jordan had to pull Portia aside and make things awkward. They go to Portia's office, and naturally Portia assumed that Jordan was just going to harass her about telling Curtis the truth about Trina, and of course she did have her say on it, but she was like, well, actually I'm here to tell you that Esme's been spotted in town, which she definitely could have said in front of Curtis and Marshall, because both of them were there too. They were at the hospital, because they would obviously want to know too. For me personally, I find it weird. Like, the writing does not seem consistent for Jordan. It's like the writers don't know what to do with her. They don't know how to flesh out her character. There's no consistency. Like, since Tanisha took over, they don't seem to have much interest in writing like anything substantial for the character. Like, they haven't tried to give her a new love interest. They haven't really had her like act emotionally too much to certain things. And she really doesn't have a story of her own when you look at it. And then, like, her personality's all over the place. We don't know if she's vindictive, if she's, you know, jealous of Portia. Does she have emotions? It's honestly hard to tell. Like, there's no depth to Jordan anymore. And there was depth with Brianna. And there was depth with Jordan number 1. Oh my gosh, I forget her name. Y'all will remind me, though. That's bad. She's Canadian, too. Vanessa Antoine. Like, both of their characters, I know that the writing's been up and down for all 3 sort of iterations of Jordan, but with Tanisha, it's like there's nothing. They've not given her anything. There's no consistency, there's no direction for the character, and it really shows on screen because, she seemed kind of sinister in that office with Portia. Like, she was like happy to make her squirm. But like Jordan, like, that seems weird for Jordan, right? And 28 degrees is cold. Yes. -2 degrees Celsius. Oh, yeah, you were saying that you went to your high school reunion, Angel. How was that? I've not been to one. I've bumped into people from high school, and it's, like, pretty cool, but I don't even know if my school had a reunion. Would I go to it? Not necessarily. I was kind of a loner in school, to be honest, so it wasn't until I turned into, 18 and older when I finally kind of got out of my shell a bit. It's better that GH should just write off Jordan if they don't have anything for her to do. Like, for real, like, TJ doesn't need his mom around. He's a grown, I want to say married, but not really. He's a grown man in a relationship. Unless they paired Jordan and Curtis, which I'm iffy. It's hard to say. Like, I don't think he would necessarily go back to Jordan because, it's one thing that Portia's lying to him and he finds out the truth, but Jordan knows the truth as well and hasn't gone to Curtis about it either. So he's going to be mad at both of them anyway. He's already mad at Jordan for, like, the past stuff that she lied about, and that kind of, like, meant that they're not likely to get back together. But now there's this on top of everything else. So I don't see Curtis wanting to be anywhere near either one of those ladies after the truth comes out. She's getting better, but she is so stiff and robotic. Yeah, she had her moment a few weeks back, kind of meeting Marshall, right? Like, that's the first time that we've really seen emotion out of her. And, like, the only time, sadly, so far. But anyway, back to the plot, though. Afterwards, the genetic counselor was going to be late. And even though they had the documents in hand, Portia decides to translate it, and it appears that Curtis has none of the genetic markers for schizophrenia, which she says is a bit odd, but it's still a good thing. That kind of confuses me, though, because, like, what does that mean? Why is it odd? I mean, obviously I'm not a medical expert, but are they trying to insinuate that maybe Marshall doesn't have schizophrenia in the first place? Because even Marshall goes on to say, like, I was never tested because there wasn't no genetic testings at the time that I was diagnosed. I was simply diagnosed. So I do have to wonder if maybe it's something else that Marshall has that was assumed to be schizophrenia at the time. And then maybe it's not being as controlled as we thought. Whatever it is, because it's not the right meds. I don't know. Maybe this ties back to the Hook killer. I don't know. The Hook, they're calling the killer now. Oh, man. But yeah, Marshall is so relieved that he never passed on schizophrenia to Curtis. He gets quite emotional, and I think the actor did such a wonderful job, because he got me. I was a little bit, like, holding my tears back at his reaction to the mere relief that he had that Curtis doesn't have any signs of genetic whatever. But at the same time, that may not necessarily rule out Trina or, like, any of Curtis's, future children either. So yeah, we'll see where this goes. I'm not quite sure where they're planning on going with, like, the twinge of Curtis not carrying any of the genes. Angel, you said you looked great and everyone complimented you. Good for you. The guy who had a crush on me since we were freshmen in high school was in my DMs. Oh, snap. Since last week. brought his girlfriend. Oh, and looked excited to see me. He has a girlfriend and he's in your DMs though. I don't know, man. Oh Lord, high school drams, guys. All right, but yeah, let's move on though. Let's talk about Trina and Spencer because we were kind of excited to talk about them anyway. Trina visited Spencer to rip him a new one pretty much for not being honest about believing in her the whole time. Esme framed her, and had he done that, we would probably be down a very different road with Trina by now. And not so many words. Trina talks about her feelings for Spencer, and equally how much him not believing her really crushed her. And I mean, she's not wrong. She went through a lot of emotional turmoil about how someone she got close to could possibly think that she could do that to Joss and Cam, make a sex tape. And then Spencer also found out that she went out of town with Rory to a comic book convention and kind of got like a little bit snippy. But you know, she was mad because she was like, I was honest about my feelings. You never were. Like, she was mad, and she told him the truth. And I respect Trina for that. She laid her heart there on the line and just told it like it was. It was a fun time for you. Probably nervous to see me. He was in my DM 6 years ago asking me to be friends with benefits. Oh, snap. Lord. Spencer should be getting out soon. Yeah, they did mention that he would be on the show soon, so time is almost up. We'll see where things go after. I mean, obviously, we know that Trina has feelings for Spencer. I don't know. She's still kind of with Rory right now, but I feel like she's smart enough to be honest with him, especially if he comes out and there's a chance for them. I just don't know how that's going to bode for Trina, because I still don't really trust Rory that much, you know? Like, there has to be a reason why we don't know much about him. Unless they truly just meant to kind of make him like a side character for her to be with, to create angst for Trina and not much else, which wouldn't surprise me either. You know, have like a B-lined character, kind of be someone that Trina's interested in, and then where is Rory? Exactly. But yeah, he could be just like a non-character that was specifically put there to give them angst. And once, you know, Trina and Spencer are honest with each other, then there's no more need for Rory, unless they decide to make it crazy and make him a little bit psycho. I feel sorry for Cam. Yeah, we gonna talk about Joss and Dex soon too. She would drop Rory if Spencer showed interest. It's true. But yeah, we'll talk about Joss and Cam or Joss and Dex really a little bit later. For now, let's get into Elizabeth, Finn, and Jeff. Let's talk about the dumpster fire that is Jeff Weber. This man had the audacity to make his way to Port Charles after leaving Elizabeth a voicemail wanting to mend fences on their relationship on her terms, and he ends up showing up at her place of work. She wasn't there at the time, of course, but the first person he runs into is Finn, because now this story from Elizabeth is about Finn and his feelings. And I'm going to go on a tangent on that in a minute, but let's just talk about the plot first. Oh, you think Rory is nothing but angst for Sabrina? Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that, honestly. But who knows with these writers? It could go either way with them. Finn was such a hypocrite. Yeah, let's talk about this, alright? So, he had just gotten out of an AA meeting, because naturally he's devastated over the revelation that his wife was unfaithful to him 25 years ago before she died. And Alexis was there too, and she was kind of prying, but respectfully, I think. And he only tells her like half the story. He mentions that Reiko was unfaithful to him. He didn't mention who she was unfaithful with, I don't think. Nor did she mention that Elizabeth, pushed her down the stairs, which led to a tainted blood transfusion that would eventually kill Reiko. And it sucked because Alexis is like, talk to Elizabeth about this. And obviously he can't, because she's part of it, you know? Nathan, you said, I get Finn being upset, I get Finn was upset with Jeff about Reiko, but as far as the cheating goes, Finn should punch air and blame himself for not being there for his wife. Yeah, you know, like, and I mean, the thing is, like, we know next to nothing about his relationship with Reiko other than the fact that she died and he couldn't save her. Like, we've heard next to nothing about their relationship, really, realistically. Man. But yeah, anyway, when Finn saw Jeff, he punched him in the mouth, and then he reported himself for whatever reason. Guess he felt bad about it. But Jeff had to go to his office and double down on his excuses for what he did with Reiko and what he did to Elizabeth. And at the time, Elizabeth was at home getting ready to basically burn every photo of her parents in her photo albums. And Carly basically forced her way into her house to ask about her encounter with Esme, because obviously Carly is nervous now that Esme is back in town and wants to know the whole story from her mouth. And obviously Carly could sense that something was off with Liz and noticed her going through her parents' photos and getting ready to burn them. Carly does say she should reconsider because one day she may see the good in her parents, since, you know, Carly had her own coming-of-age story. And Elizabeth clearly isn't in the mood to listen, so Carly snatches one of the photos while Elizabeth isn't looking and keeps it for herself, probably to eventually give back to them. I feel like with that, and obviously I don't know how we're going to get to this point in the story, I think that Elizabeth is going to mend a relationship with her parents, or at least with Jeff, and either Jeff or Caroline are going to die, or maybe both of them, who knows. And, you know, Carly will bring that photo and be like, here, you know? Also, is Finn forgetting all the hell he put Chase, Jackie, and his father through all those years? Yeah, true, man. You know, Finn slept with his dad's girlfriend. Or fiance, really. So he's not one to, you know, that should judge Jeff. Maybe he sees a lot of Jeff in him. But I'm assuming maybe Finn was faithful to Reiko, because obviously he wouldn't be as devastated because he thought they were good. And him and Jackie were before Reiko, I would imagine, right? But yeah, anyway, later Liz finds Finn and Jeff together, and she asks to be alone with him and rips him a new one for showing up, you know, in town like this. Jeff really out here making mistakes after mistakes, and, you know, showing that, wow, at least we know where Elizabeth got it from. Like, no, not that I'm ragging on Elizabeth, but we know Elizabeth has made plenty of mistakes in her life. She's a lot better now, but, you know, she's definitely her father's daughter. But yeah, when Finn and Liz end up alone after, she asks him if he thinks that they can still be together or if this ruins their relationship for good. But Nicholas had kept calling her, and eventually she makes her way there and leaves, you know, Finn to kind of be alone with, you know, a cliffhanger essentially, and he's clearly frustrated with her too. I'll keep saying it. I hate that Finn was tied to Elizabeth's past, because now, instead of comforting Liz over the reasons her father neglected her for 25 years, we have Liz coddling Finn over a 2-decade-old marriage that wasn't as happy as he thought it was. She'd been dead for 25 years. You know, like, Elizabeth is now the one coddling him about what Jeff Weber did with his wife. When, by all accords, you know, Elizabeth getting neglected by her parents, and see, you know, Caroline basically repressing her memory. Like, she's the one that needs to be coddled. What are you doing, Finn? Ugh. Oh, it just makes me that mad. How could Reiko be Liz's mother? Someone said that. I don't know what that person was thinking, but there ain't no way. Ain't no way. man. But yeah, y'all, let's move on. Before I go on a tangent again, let's talk about Nicholas, Esme, and Elizabeth. So we should really talk about why Elizabeth left, because we got to take things back to the beginning of the week. At the start of the week, Elizabeth had gone over to Windermere to confront Nicholas about him leaving her on the docks, and and asking him what he did with Esme, because he saw them together, and he saw Nicholas grabbing Esme. And Nicholas surprisingly brings her up to Esme's room and just shows her. And her reaction to Esme being pregnant with Nicholas's baby, because of course she assumes that she's pregnant with Spencer's child first. And then Nicholas just stays silent, and she's just like, no! Like, you slept with your son's girlfriend? I loved it. So hilarious. Oh my god. And, anyway, moving on. Now cut back to later on this week. Esme is up to her dirty tricks and games again. She's still locked up in that tower part of Windermere, and she's really desperate to get out of there. So she tries getting on his muscle, like Nicholas's muscles. What's his name? Demetrius or whatever. His emotional side, and it almost worked too, but he never caves. So she has to move on to plan B, which is after having an emotional moment with her baby, she decides that she's going to use the baby's health or Nicholas's bond with the baby to her advantage. But yeah, that emotional moment with the baby, like, I had to laugh because she's like laughing and crying at the same time because the baby kicked her. And I'm sitting there thinking, shoot, if I was in the womb of Satan, I'd be kicking her too. Like, get me out of here. This woman is a psycho. Like, I swear, y'all. Kick. Man. But yeah, anyway, Esme realizes that the key to keeping Nick on track is making him think that he could lose the baby, so she tries it. He gets scared and he calls Elizabeth over to help her. When they get to the room, Esme's passed out on the floor. And what happens next, I absolutely love. Oh, you'd like to see Laura's reaction, Jake? Me too, Jake. I'm waiting for that one. But yeah, what happens next, I absolutely love. Elizabeth basically checks her out, and then she panics, saying, "Oh, they have to get the baby out now, or the baby won't survive." And she's like, "We'll cut her open and do a C-section without anesthesia." And at that point, I was like, "Okay." I was like, Elizabeth knows what's up. And Esme jumps up and freaks out at her, and Elizabeth had that "gotcha, bitch" like look on her face. Oh man, yeah, the look on Elizabeth's face. She was just like, "Got you." Oh man, I lived for that moment. Not the womb of Satan. Well, I mean, come on, man. Close enough. She's Ryan Chamberlain's daughter. But yeah, Elizabeth played Esme hard, and Esme fell for it. And she was mad. Like, Esme was mad that she fell for it. She was like, man, I thought Liz was this wayward, like, angelic thing that's so innocent. And clearly, she outmaneuvered me. She's not as clean-cut as they thought. But, Elizabeth doesn't claim to be one. Everyone just assumes she is. I think someone touched base on this the other day when we were talking. But, like, and because I think Cam mentioned it too, like, people mistake the fact that they have manners for being angelic. But no, they know how to play a player, But yeah, like, Esme tries to be like, how could you treat me so unfairly when you're a nurse? And Elizabeth reminds her that she made a sex tape of her son and released it. And Esme couldn't really say much after that. She tried, but she really, like, Elizabeth's not going to be on her side ever. The C-section was hilarious. Yeah, I agree. But anyway, Nicholas pisses me off because now he wants Liz to be his on-call nurse for Esme, which makes her an accessory to the kidnapping if she agrees to it, and eventually murder should he decide to kill her once the baby is born, which he, claims that he wouldn't. But, like, we know he's capable of it, so... And honestly, I wouldn't blame him if he did. Like, my thing with it, like, baby or not, like, bye to both. I just think back to, like, Sunny being happy that Claudia miscarried and, you know, saying thank God that that baby wasn't born. And I feel like Nicholas would probably say the same thing. Like, thank God that baby wasn't born into the life that would have been waiting for him, because Esme would probably be like on the run with that baby, and Nicholas would be holding her hostage. And, you know, it's just that no baby deserves that life. No baby. The baby isn't far along to survive out of the womb to do a C-section. Yeah, and I'm sure Liz knows that. But, you know, she knows Esme is just a child who probably doesn't know too much about nursing and, you know, giving birth. He missed Claudia. I loved Sarah Brown as Claudia, honestly. I had a lot of fun watching her. Right to the bitter end. Oh, man. But yeah, don't worry, Elizabeth. If Esme does get murdered, if Esme gets murdered, and it's anything like the time that Nicholas had Hayden shot, all of Port Charles will find out about it, and then they'll completely forget about it next time it's brought up. So, which is exactly what happened over, you know, Nicholas shooting Hayden in the first place. Everyone that we saw back then learn the truth no longer knew the truth, like a couple years back when they brought it up again. They just forgot, all conveniently. But yeah, let's move on. Let's talk about Joss and Dex. Last time we left them, Dex was about to be found in Jocelyn's room by one of the dorm counselors. But Joss shows up and covers right away. And she leaves. The counselor leaves. And then Adam shows up again. And he's like, wait, but what's going on then? And so she has to tell him, you know, she found a stray cat and is taking care of him. Which isn't that far from the truth, you know. Dex is essentially a stray, and he's as cute as a kitten. So I feel like, you know, it's a good comparison. But yeah, then Carly shows up looking for her to let Jocelyn know that Esme's been spotted in town and that she attacked Elizabeth. And Joss decides to come clean because she knows she's going to need some help with Dex. And, you know, she brings Carly into the room, shows her Dex, says that he needs antibiotics, and Carly knows how to get to them or get antibiotics under the radar. And she does that by calling Brick, who's in town meeting Sunny's new mistress and, you know, vibing as he usually does. But of course, when Carly meets up with Brick, Nina spots them and assumes that they are having an affair because that just seems to be her thing lately. And Nina even tells Sunny, and Sunny confronts Brick. So it's like, boy, like, this girl just likes to cause trouble for no reason with, like, all of Sunny's past people. And hopefully he starts to see that soon, but I doubt it. And, you know, Brick has to swear up and down that he's not having an affair with Carly. And you know, Sunny's always taking his word for things, and he's going to do that again. But he does say, like, he's doing Carly a favor. She asked for his discretion. He doesn't want to go back on her word. And I think Sunny should respect that, because even though Sunny and Carly are divorced, and yes, he's loyal to Sunny, he knows how much Brick cares about Carly. You know, like, that's still his friend at the end of the day, whether they're together or not. And, you know, Sunny should just mind his own freaking business. I mean, it kind of is, realistically, but, you know, Brick doesn't know why Carly needs antibiotics, so, you know, he doesn't have any idea that it has to do with Dex. I think if he did, he'd definitely tell Sunny about it. But with Carly, the less info, the better in his case. They might as well give Adam an actual role than a walk-on. I'm not that interested in Adam. Like, you know, I feel so bad because the kid does have talent, but it just, he's clearly, he's been hired because he's Maurice's son. And it just reminds me of, you know, Peter August being hired, or I forget the actor's name, but, you know, he got hired because he was Carly's, or Laura Wright's real-life boyfriend. Nosy Nina needs to mind her business and stop running to Sunny with gossip. Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely agree. But anyway, back to Dex and Joss. During all of this situation with Carly and Nina and Sunny and Brick and blah blah blah, Dex is pretty delusional. He's got a high fever and he's hallucinating a bit, and he confesses how hot he thinks Jocelyn is, and Joss is absolutely loving the attention because she's definitely Carly's daughter, and using any excuse to touch him. Which honestly, can you blame her? Like, look at him. He's crazy hot, right? Creepy Adam could be the hook. I hope not. That'd be so stupid. But anyway, Carly definitely sees what's going on with Joss and Dex, and she's probably looking at her like, man, she really is my daughter. She just found her Jason, and Cam's life is about to be hell. Man, like I feel so bad for Cameron, y'all. Like, she's got this bad boy now. This bad boy that's looking out for her, and he's, saved her life and helped her out with, the odd favor or two. And he's got washboard abs. Like, what more could Joss want? Ay. But yeah, I feel so bad for Cam. I get, like, it's probably half of it is that he's not as available to the show anymore. So, in that sense, the writing is on the wall. And I don't know how I feel about a Joss and Dex pairing, because obviously that's the route they're gonna go. But I don't know. I think they're gonna try to sell them as like a super couple thing, and then they're always gonna be compared to Spencer and Trina. And I feel like the writers are probably gonna try to push Joss and Dex more than Trina and Spencer, and it's gonna backfire on them. They always seem to do the opposite of what the fans seem to really want. Not that Joss and Dex don't have a fan base. I'm sure that they do, but if they have to choose, like I think Trina and Spencer are far more of a thing that people want, and it's probably not going to happen simply because of that. Dex looks too old for Joss. Yeah. I mean, yeah, Dex does look more like a man, so it is weird, and like I think part of it is that we've seen Joss since she was young too. So, we've seen her around, every day, and you don't really notice the changes until you look back, right? Because you're growing up right alongside them, or they're growing up, in front of you. Dex looks better with Christina. Yeah, but they're not going to go there because they barely utilize Christina. Isn't she already out of the country again? Oh my gosh. We just got her back too. All good, Angel. I understood. But yeah, what are the odds that Cameron finds Joss and Dex together? Because I feel like that's probably going to happen. And this poor man, poor young Cameron, he doesn't deserve this. Such a good kid. Amazing that he's a good kid too, with Elizabeth and Xander as parents. Alright, but let's, oh, Joss still looks young, and Dex looks like a fully grown man. Yeah, it's true. Alright, let's move on. Let's talk about Cody. Sam had gotten Spinelli to look into his history, and while they couldn't find everything about his past, she did put two and two together and realize that Cody was probably aware of the Ice Princess diamond that Britt has, and that it was likely why he blackmailed Spinelli into connecting him with Britt in the first place. And she's ready to go all in to bring him down, and she confronts him, except he alludes to Dante not having a squeaky clean past either, and it stops her in her tracks, because Lord knows she can't put Dante in danger from his own past just to protect her friends from Cody. Not that Britt is a friend really, but like I feel like Sam should like warn Britt that this is a possibility. But also speaking of Britt, Cassandra James, who plays Terry, has been posting like behind the scenes footage of her, so she seems to be on set still. But this could be like her just coming back to the show. So my guess is maybe she does go on a bit of a hiatus, but now she's back at GH. because Kelly has also posted videos of her backstage too now. So I think we're gonna see Britt on a hiatus, but I think she's coming back probably in a couple of months' time if she does go onto a hiatus, because obviously she's about to leave town because Austin convinces her to go to some kind of, I don't know if it was like some kind of convention that could, you know, be good news for her with her Huntington's disease in terms of how to combat it. Do we care? Listen, I care about Britt, y'all, okay? Like, you know, Cody's playing her. Do we care about Dante's past as a teenager? Honestly, it depends what they did, because I wonder if it has to be something far more sinister than, you know, some childish shit, you know what I mean? It has to be major if it's like something that they've been alluding to this whole time. They committed some kind of crime that they probably could go to jail for. But yeah, speaking of Austin though, Spinelli is probably going to try to look into Austin's past. That's just my guess. I'm surprised he hasn't already, to be honest, because he clearly doesn't like the guy's vibe, and we know Austin's not on the up and up because essentially he's like a mob doctor, like kind of giving people surgeries under the radar. When Britt leaves, I'm going to be celebrating like it's Mardi Gras. She'll be back though. Enjoy your celebration while it lasts. Hey, listen. I still like Cody. Okay? The badness doesn't bother me, but you know, let's flesh out the story and see what it is. Cody is still hot to me. I don't care. He's hot. He's trash, but he's hot. And you know, he's clearly like along the morally gray line. He probably just wants money, which, you know, can't blame him for that. How many con artists have there been on the show? Ethan was the same way. Luke was the same way. Holly was the same way. It's not someone that we haven't seen before, character arc-wise. Yeah, I'm thinking Britt will stay. Like, I think really it's just a hiatus so that she can go and shoot the show, just like anyone else has. You know, like so many actors on the show have left for a little bit and gone to like film something and come back. So I don't see why it wouldn't be the same with Britt. And I think the producers know that, you know, Kelly and Britt are popular. You know, like, I don't think that they would kill them unless they knew without a doubt that they weren't going to be getting them back. And I think, you know, at the end of the day, Britt's probably open to appearing as often as she can. No one's going to turn down a steady job, you know what I mean? Although, if her character works out for multiple seasons in the primetime show, you know, we might have to see her less and less. But as long as they keep her around in some sort of capacity, I'm okay with it. But it does probably put a damper in their plans for Cody and Britt, too. Mob Dr. Austin could have treated Dex. Yeah, but Dex ain't working for whoever Austin's working for, so he probably doesn't care. Being a mob doctor isn't the worst. Spinelli was a mob computer guy. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, like, I feel like, and they do this all the time with characters. They make their secret out to be much smaller, or no, they make their secret out to be much bigger than it actually is. Because we've seen, like, you know, with Marshall, they made it seem like something horrible happened, or that he was working for the mob, or something big and bad, and it was schizophrenia, right? And now it's the same thing with Austin. They made it seem like he's like some kind of killer, or like some kind of sinister monster, and he's a mob doctor. Like, why are they playing this up when it's essentially not a big deal? Like, yeah, it's sketchy. He's doing some illegal shit, but it's not like terrible. It's nothing that hasn't been seen on the show before. But yeah, Maxie actually thought that Austin was avoiding her by doing all these unnecessary surgeries to avoid her because Georgie and Spinelli dislike him so much. Again, I have so little interest in this story. Maxie and Austin could honestly fall off the face of the earth, and I wouldn't be fazed by it. I'd be okay with it. Maxie sadly has become uninteresting. Unless they put her back with Spinelli, I don't want any part of it at this point. They have her doing next to nothing except for being duped by men. Like since Nathan, like first it was Levi Dunkelman. She had a good run with Nathan, and then it was Peter August, and now it's Austin. And like, again, not that what he's doing is super sinister, but you know, girl, stay single, you know, become a bad girl again. I'd like to see bad girl Maxie back. We like mob guys on GH. Depends who you ask. You know, like I would say that I tolerated Sonny and Jason because I like Maurice Bernard and Steve Burton. But I hate it. I hate the hold that these characters have on the show. I've always hated the hold they have on the show because for a lot of years it hindered GH's creativity, I think. You know, everyone was backburned for them, and it really gave characters that had potential, like, next to nothing to work with. I think Frank does give a lot more balance under him, but it's still way in Sonny's favor and Carly's favor. You know, Steve Burton, had he still been on the show, would have been in his favor too. Olivia Jerome hopefully will be revealed as Austin's sinister boss. Oh, that's a good point. You know, I never even thought about that, but I mean, they're mentioning her, so hey, and we know that Austin's boss is a woman. The way I see it, it's either Olivia Jerome or it's Jennifer Smith, both who are witch in jail. So we'll see. But do the Jeromes and the Holts have history? Because then that would make complete sense. Let's move on, though, because only a couple more things to talk about. Let's talk about Sasha and Gladys. Sasha's life is about to get complicated. The writing is on the wall. While Gladys has been making decent choices within the conservatorship, she's about to get tempted from Selena Wu, who has invited her to a couple of outings, casino outings or gambling outings at the Savoy. I think we're about to see Gladys blow through all of Sasha's money in these games. And, you know, we know that her cousin Mike had a gambling addiction. Maybe we're going to see that with Gladys as well. And it's going to, you know, screw Sasha over. That's my prediction now, because I didn't see this angle coming with Gladys, because I was worried, like, oh, please don't hinder Gladys's sort of character growth. But since gambling addiction is in the family, if she's taking advantage of Sasha's money in this way, then at least it's a bit more easy to stomach than it would be if they just had Gladys, like, enjoying controlling Sasha. You know what I mean? Feel sorry for Sasha. Gladys is a mess. Yeah, Gladys is easily duped. She's easily manipulated, which is unfortunate for Sasha, or it will be unfortunate for Sasha in the long run. Is the Jerome organization still going? I mean, we don't know. Julian's dead. But Olivia was controlling Julian for a while, right? So we don't know. She could be running things. Obviously, Cyrus is aware of her. And he's the one that brought it up to Laura in the first place, that she was waiting for Anna to come to jail. So, you know, the possibility is out there. All right, but finally, let's talk about the all the legendary 80s characters and their current story, which I'm actually really enjoying, especially by the end of this week. First off, we've seen Holly and Robert on a little coffee date, and Laura runs into them because she's doing a coffee run for Martin, and she joins them at their table for a bit while she waits for her to go order. Holly was surprised to learn, obviously, that Laura has 2 new brothers. She didn't know that Martin was her brother, but obviously that's new news since she's been alive again. And, you know, the fact that Martin is her brother has Holly feeling guilty because of the loss of Lucy. And, you know, Martin, as Laura states, is very certain that Anna is, in fact, the one that shot her. And Holly goes on this passionate tangent about how she knows for a fact that Anna didn't do it. And, of course, it was so passionate that it had Laura questioning things. And, you know, Laura confronts her on it naturally. And she's like, it's just simply not the Anna that I know. That's how I'm sure. And, you know, Holly needs fresh air and she leaves. And Laura just gives Robert a look like, she seemed remorseful, dude. Something is off with Holly. You gotta see it. I know you don't want to, but you have to see it. And then, you know, we see Holly outside and she's having a flashback at the docks where Lucy was shot. And that's when we learn that it was not, you know, how I thought. I thought it was probably Anna's twin sister. Unfortunately, the masks have made a freaking comeback, and it was Holly and an Anna mask that shot Lucy. Oh my god. Oh, that part of the story annoys me. Everything else I'm liking. But the fact that they brought the mask back again, I swear to God. It would have made more sense to have Alex be alive and working for Victor. At least in that matter of it. But it is what it is. That stupid plot point did lead to a pretty clever plot twist, though. Because the next day, Robert and Holly are at the Metro Court, and Robert lets her know that he's heard from Anna and that she's okay. He then gets a phone call and gets informed that they're going to move her, and he says the address, you know, for the people to find her. Holly then spills a drink on herself, and when Robert goes to grab more napkins, she texts Victor saying that they have to meet right away. And then, you know, Robert and Holly part ways, and Holly meets up with Victor on the docks and gives him the address. And Victor then clearly gives the address to the federal agent that is, you know, in charge of the search for Anna. And that guy is definitely under his thumb because of that reason. Like, we see him right away, and I feel like most of us probably guessed that. What are y'all doing, Holly? Like, exactly. But, you know, I feel like, you know, she's not doing Victor's bidding for nothing. Like, clearly he has something on her, and I'm sure whatever it is, we're going to learn soon. But yeah, Victor clearly gave the federal agent the address, which of course Laura, Felicia, Mac, and Dante are really worried about. Maybe not Laura, because I feel like she probably had a hand in Robert's plan in some way, but the rest of the crew are of course worried that, you know, it was a real lead for Anna. Valentine visits Anna at the safe house, explaining that it's too dangerous to stay here and that they need to get her out of the country and that a ride is coming for her in the next little bit. And we then see Mac, Dante, and the federal agent pull up to the address that they were given, and they kind of cut back and forth to Anna and Valentine looking out the door while the police are getting ready to storm in. And it turns out they were in 2 different places because the address that Robert stated over the phone was wrong. He basically set up a trap for Holly to get caught because he knew something was off. And I'm sure he figured out Holly is probably working for Victor. Let's find out for sure. And, you know, as soon as they storm the place that the address is, we see Robert show up at the docks and seeing Holly alone, and he's like, you got some explaining to do. So he's about to confront her on that shit. Let's see. I'm not liking Holly's return, and I said she was working for Victor too. But we knew that pretty much from the jump, though, didn't we? I mean, I feel like we mostly knew. Although, I don't know. Okay, I guess we didn't really know for sure until Holly left to meet Victor on the bridge. Well, no, actually, no. We knew right away that something was off, because the first thing she did when she was taken to the hospital after being found was turn off Robert's phone, like put it on silent. So we knew something was up from the jump, I think. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the confrontation tomorrow. I don't know how much we'll get to know. Like, I don't know if we'll find out what Victor has on her. Because I have a feeling that the story is about to go on hiatus. We know Holly's visit is short, and that it will pick up again down the road because Tristan Rogers has said as much. And I'm not 100% on this, but I think Finola Hughes tends to go on vacation around this time too. So her leaving the country to stay hidden would make sense if her vacation is right now. And they'll probably pick things up once Anna's vacation is over, and I'm sure they'll invite Holly back too. I'm just worried about how Holly is going to be, dealt with, how she's going to make her exit, Hopefully Victor doesn't kill her again. But yeah, part of me is a little bit mad that the story is likely going to be on hiatus, but I get it, between Finola's vacations and trying to take care of Emma as much as possible while she's battling long COVID and trying to work. I think it's going to be a difficult task. But yeah, I think that Victor is holding Luke hostage, and Holly is trying to make sure that Luke stays alive. That is my theory. The other theory, the other second guess, would be Ethan. But we don't know, because we don't see Ethan too often. He doesn't live in Port Charles. He could be anywhere, really. But yeah, that's kind of all she wrote for GH, you guys. What did you guys think of the show this week? Let me know in the chat before we end things here tonight. Ooh, also I want to mention one thing that's kind of off topic, but not really. Initially, I thought that Robin Mattson, who plays Heather Weber, had retired from acting, but it turns out she actually had surgery, like a hip replacement surgery or a leg surgery or something like that, and that's why she wasn't able to be on GH this time around. So it seems like she's open to coming back into the, to the future on GH. Oh, Jake, you think it's Ethan that's in trouble? Oh, you wish there was more excitement this week? I did have to say, the twist with Robert playing Holly at the end was, that made up for it a little bit. But yeah, you're right. Most of the week was slow. It really didn't pick up to the last, until Thursday, Friday. Actually, you guys know what? I think I skipped something completely here. And I don't blame me. Okay, we got one more thing to talk about. It's Michael and Willow. I mean, we don't really... I don't enjoy them much. But we got to discuss it because it happened anyway. Michael and Willow decide it's best to track down her birth parents and say they're her best bet for a bone marrow transplant. And while Harmony didn't give them much to go on, it's the only lead they got, they tell Drew that they're searching for her birth parents, but don't reveal the reason because she wants to keep that under wraps for a while longer. But it does have Drew thinking about how Nina almost ended up being her mom. Let's see how long it takes before he puts two and two together, because I'm sure that the evidence that they find will point to Nina in some way. And then Drew's probably going to question Carly and the DNA results because he never seen them himself. Also, Leo found Dex's phone outside of the gate, the guest house. Is it the gatehouse? The gatehouse. And Michael charges the phone and realizes that it's Dex's phone too. And I think that Michael is obviously going to find out that Joss is hiding Dex as well. And he's going to be super mad at Dex over it. But I feel like Dex is going to be like, no, I came to the gatehouse looking for you and I found Jocelyn there instead. Because, you know, how could he have known that Jocelyn was going to be there? He was probably looking for Michael. It would have been risky because Willow's there too, but, you know, I'm sure Michael could let Willow in on his plan. Not that he should burden her with it, but we know Michael don't really care too much about Willow's well-being as much as he claims to. At the end of the day, he's more about taking down Sunny than he is looking after his family. But yeah, now that's all she wrote, okay? Oh, and also Victor found out that the jewelry in Britt's possession was in fact the Ice Princess, so that'll come into play eventually too. How much of it will come right away, we don't know because of the hiatus of Holly and the hiatus of Anna. That potential hiatus of Anna anyway. I'm just speculating, but it makes sense. But yeah, that's all she wrote, guys. I hope you all enjoyed this recap. Again, like you guys said, I agree. The show wasn't too exciting this week. I did enjoy the last couple of episodes of the week, and I think hopefully it picks up a little bit the next few days. It's either that or it's going to fall flat when the characters that are kind of needed to continue the story make their leave. But time will tell. Yeah, thanks so much for joining me today, guys. I really enjoyed this live stream. I'm glad that I could come much earlier than I thought I would be able to come online. But yeah, other than that, I'll catch you guys Wednesday. We will react to a classic Thanksgiving episode since it's American Thanksgiving. You know, we'll probably keep it Q related because we love the Q's Thanksgiving. But until then, I'll chat at you guys later. If you like this video, give it a big old thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to. Happy Thanksgiving to y'all in the United States. And I will catch you guys this Wednesday. Good night. Mwah.